Hi guys, so I'm doing a live Q&A right now, and so I actually wanted to do a video, just record something because I had a request of with regards to a specific topic, and I just wanted to basically like answer that question and also any other questions you might have. Sorry, I can't wave to you guys, but hi everyone, hi. Thanks for joining. Um, Okay, so the question I had was basically how do we react to like 3D? How do we manage 3D? Like, say your SP is like, married and he is like telling you that he's going to leave his wife, for example, right? But, there isn't any action. Like, how do you deal with that while you are manifesting an SP? And I wanted to just answer that really quick. Or even if like your boss is like, treating you very badly, like, how do you deal with 3D whilst you are manifesting, right? Like during the process. And quite simply, the answer is like see it objectively, right? It is a result of past thoughts, assumptions, and beliefs. And that is pretty much it. Like you see it from an objective standpoint, and you can tell yourself, like, remind yourself that you are the creator of your reality. Circumstances do not matter. People have to conform because you are the only one with free will. So they have to change. And when you can come at it from that perspective and really like step into your power, like you can definitely change it for the better. So yeah, sorry, I'm trying to like wave to everyone, but at the same time, it's so difficult. Yeah, and like that's one thing I try to do. Is like like I try to see things objectively, and that really, really, really helps. And I don't try to like see it as like because many people like see 3D as something that's very solid and set in stone, whereas 3D is really all about being very fluid, and you can change things, right? Like see it as that, like you can change it. It is capable of coming to change, and you can definitely change the outcome of it. So don't take it seriously, right? Don't come at it from a very emotional standpoint. See it from a very objective standpoint, and see that you can actually change it, and that should really, really help you guys a lot. So yeah, if there's any questions, do let me know. I'll answer it right now, and yeah, let's get going. So that's a question I wanted to answer with regards to 3D, is that because it always like shows up, you don't know how to deal with it. Like go back into your imagination. That's one more thing, is going back into your imagination and dwelling in that as much as you can. And I feel that that would really help, like going and dwelling in your imagination more. That would really, really help you. Okay, so we have a couple different questions, I think. Okay, I want to answer this one. Okay, I'll answer everything for sure, but this one caught my eye. How do I become positive? How do I be positive when I have toxic and abusive parents? Okay, definitely, like I can understand the severity of the situation in during those times. What I would do is I would definitely have like dwell in my imagination more in those cases, and also not expecting a confrontation or not expecting for them to come across as toxic or abusive all the time. Like if you wake up, don't expect things. Don't have that expectation, oh, they are going to say this if I do X, for example. Like intend everything for for you to go favorably, right? And when you wake up, like set that intention. And also, even if it's like sarcastically saying, you can always say, oh, my parents are so loving with me, right? And start like repeating that to yourself. And you can also have like blanket affirmations that I'm always loved, admired, and respected by everyone around me. And I feel like those kinds of blanket affirmations will really help you, because you're not focusing on just your parents, because that may cause a bit of resistance. So what I would say is like focusing on like blanket statements, and like focusing on like regardless of what they say, they're going to change. So this isn't going to last. This is just a mirror reflection of my past thoughts, assumptions, and beliefs. So I feel like that would really help. So yeah, I'll definitely share manifestation stories. Like is it like mine or clients? Do let me know that. So okay, I think, oh my, there's a lot of questions. Okay, sure. Kiv asked, what do you think about being neutral instead of being focused on it? Will being neutral without affirming change things as well? Okay, so when you're saying neutral, is it like self-concept, affirmations, or like what are you doing? Like, I think if you could clarify that aspect of it, like that would be more helpful for me to answer. So, yeah, I will be saving this live. It will be on YouTube. I'm not sure how to upload it on Insta like directly because sometimes I do have issues. So I'll be uploading this to YouTube as well. So be sure to check it out there. Thought transmissions. Yeah, I do believe in thought transmissions. Thought transmissions are like very real. It's happening 24/7, and everyone receives our thoughts. Not just our SPE or anyone, for example. Everyone is receiving our thoughts constantly. That's why our mood is often reflected on the outside, right? It has also, to do with like everyone is you pushed out concept. So I do believe that thoughts are always transmitted. The person may not, for example, if you're thinking about your SP, the person may not see it consciously, like receive those things consciously, but on some level they will definitely be feeling it, and use this to your advantage. So if your, as the thoughts of your SPs like comes to you, what you do is you see it as they are thinking about me. That's why I'm feeling these thoughts right now, and I feel like that would really help. So yeah. What if SP and I are long distance and currently in no communication, feels impossible to manifest? Circumstances do not matter. Long distance is nothing, and don't like, you know value the idea of long distance. Don't acknowledge it. Don't give it power. Right? No communication. Like you can manifest in steps, of course. So you can, like, if that seems like a stretch for you, if all these seems like mountainous obstacles for you, what I suggest you to do is manifest in steps. Intend for contact first, and then you can intend for SP to come and see you, or you can go straight to the end where like you're fetching your SP from the airport, and you guys are just having a good lovely time and just focusing on that. Because if you see the end, then what it implies is that it implies that all the middle is already sorted out, so you wouldn't have to stress out about the details. So it really depends on what kind of approach you want to go for, but really know that circumstances do not matter. You can achieve what you want, and like I get like why it feels impossible to manifest, but it's because like you are trying to plot the how. That's why it feels impossible. From where you stand, you're trying to plot a course as to how this will all happen, and not trying to do that is going to help you a lot, right? Like don't try to think about the how or when it will all pan out and how quickly it will pan out and whatnot. Like let go of those and completely immerse yourself in an imaginative scene which indicates the union of you and your SP. And yeah, I wish you the best of luck there. Okay, let me see. Yeah, I'll definitely save this live. Thank you. Is any trauma bond thing in relationship of everyone? Is there any trauma bonding relationship? I'm not sure of the question. Underscore noobs. Could you like elaborate that, please? Thank you. Okay, so I wanted to manifest my SP. I could imagine it real at first, but then my insecurities kicked in, and now I feel like shit. I keep imagining my SP saying I'm seeing someone. Okay. So the first thing is like, why does that imagination come to you naturally, or is this something like you like tend to just slip into something because of a thought? And I feel that like when it comes to this, like if you can't focus on like if the intrusive thoughts are coming, like one thing you can always tell yourself is like only favorable thoughts manifest for me. Like that's a really good one that I always tend to use, because it really detaches me from those like intrusive thoughts. And because this thought doesn't serve me, it's not going to manifest, so I'm giving it like little to no power at all. And what I would say is that focus on your self-concept and then come back to this, because the reason why insecurities are kicking in probably is because of a lack of self-concept with regards to your SP. In other areas it may be perfect, but with regards to SP, this is like a clear indication that you need work there. So when you like approach it from like a strong self-concept, right, like none of this wouldn't even like feel like it's going to affect you, right? And you can all you won't even acknowledge these thoughts, and you won't value these thoughts as much. You will always come at it from a place of like, nope, SP is already mine, these thoughts are nothing, these thoughts have no power over me, kind of thing. So work on your self-concept. Okay, there's a question. Someone privately messaged me. So I'm manifesting my SP, but he blocked instead. I tried to have a chat with him, but he didn't respond. What should I do? Go within, dwell within. Don't try to contact him in the 3D for the time being, because what it does is that because 3D is already a reflection of past thoughts and assumptions, and trying to attempt to do something in the 3D is often going to be futile. It's not going to go anywhere. Rather, what I would say is go within, work on your self concept, and intend for contact from SP, and SP apologizing to you, or like SP telling you loving things, for example. Write a letter from your SP to yourself, and read it every night. I feel like that will really be helpful. It's like a Neville's technique. So yeah, I think writing a letter would really help. So yeah. How to ignore 3D when it's different from what you imagine slash your ideal day? Okay, yeah. So what I would do is remind yourself of how temporary the situation is, right? Reminding yourself of how fluid reality can be. That if I can change my thoughts, it will definitely be reflected, because what I'm experiencing right now is a result of my current thoughts, assumptions, and beliefs, or my past thoughts, assumptions, and beliefs. And really seeing the fluidity of reality is going to help you there, and it's all about a perception or perspective shift there, and like how you see it really. And you don't have to ignore 3D per se. That's one misconception, actually. You don't have to ignore it, but rather you go with the flow of things, knowing that the fulfillment of your desire is inevitable. Like, that's how I go with it, right? Like, I'm not ignoring everything, but rather I'm because what you resist persists. So what I'd rather do is I'd go with the flow. I won't resist anything. I'm not going to deny anything. I'm just going to go with the flow, knowing deep down that my desires are already fulfilled, and somehow this is also a bridge of incidents, right? I feel like that would really help you. You can revise your day at the end of the day for sure, and I feel like that could help you. So every day you come home, at night you revise the day as to how it should have went, and you set the intentions for the following day for it to go well, smooth, and whatnot. And remind yourself of your desires, like why you're doing what you're doing, and like see that as real, feel it real, and keep going. And I feel like that would help. So I hope that answered your question, Kim. Any manifestation story of your clients, or can be yours too? Okay, sure, I'll definitely share something. Hi. I'm trying to see if there's any other questions. Oh, okay. How can I transmit it quickly? I have been practicing someone saying something in my imagination right when they say opposite. Okay, thing is, thought transmissions are instant, right? It's not connected to anything physical. It's not like a because in the 3D, right, like thought, like I think people compare like the internet and like radio transmission signals and whatnot, and they think like there's a lag time, right? Things in imagination, or things in like the 4D, are like instant, like that's why imagination is so powerful. And so what I would say is, as soon as you think about the thought, like it is already transmitting. But rather what you should do is, one, like you can do it as often as you can. That's one thing. And two, right, I feel that you may be paying attention to the 3D and asking yourself like, where is it? And that thought itself, like maybe why is it, or why isn't it happening soon, or things like that, is going to potentially like cancel the thought transmissions, because these are thoughts as well, right? So what you're doing whilst you're not practicing consciously of transmitting a thought to a person matters as much as well. So definitely work on that. I'm obsessed with my SP desire. I don't want to give up, but it's draining me. It's draining you because you are thinking about probably the when and the how. You're not just accepting that the union of you and your SP is inevitable, because you are comparing 3D, you're seeing things in the 3D and acknowledging them as being solid and very real, and that's why you're facing that, right? Because if you look at it from another perspective, like that regardless of what I'm experiencing right now, my union with SP is inevitable, and you just keep dwelling in your imagination, being completely ignorant of the 3D, that wouldn't be the case. So yeah. Is it possible if I just saw my SP once on the street, like we didn't talk, neither he knows me? Okay, so if it's like a random person, definitely, like, if you can remember his face and whatnot, you can imagine a scene with him. Like, all things are possible to one's imagination, right? So definitely, it's definitely possible. So yeah, good luck. I'm too obsessed with my. Okay, I think I answered that question already. Separation is illusion. How? Okay, separation is illusion because we are all connected. We are all one, right? Everyone is just pushed out. So you, like, when people say like separation is illusion, it's this whole idea that seeing your SP as a separate entity compared to you, and therefore thinking that you can't convince them or you can't change them, for lack of a better word. But even then, you're not changing a person. You're simply aligning with a version where they are exhibiting the ideal qualities, and you're just aligning with that reality, and you're just shifting into that reality, right? So separation is an illusion because they are not a separate entity. We are all one, and they reside within you as well. So that's why separation is an illusion. Does that mean your thoughts aren't private? Any thoughts or SATs like cuddling and kissing SP is what they're thinking. They will definitely receive it, but consciously they might not realize it, but they are definitely going to be receiving those thoughts. That's why when you're having like mental fights with, like, let's say a coworker that you may not have even spoken to, they're going to exhibit some sort of hostility between you, like you and them. And the reason for that is because thought transmissions are very real. Like, they feel thoughts. That's why when people say like, I don't know, his vibes are off, kind of thing, that's what they mean. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Love hearing examples of thought transmissions being reflected to you. Can you give an example? Someone saying back to you verbatim what you imagined. Definitely. Like, for me personally, I've had several instances where like my employer, like my superior in Yam, used to like tell me things that I actually would have thought of, and I felt that like there was no coincidence. And sometimes like my friends would say things that I would have just thought, and or like, if I'm thinking about something and then people like just say it out just as I'm thinking that. Or like, if let's say I was thinking about a song once, and my friend beside me just started singing that song like randomly, and I'm like, I looked at him and I'm like, I kid you not, like, this was the exact song that I was thinking about right now. And he's like laughing, like, how is that possible? Like, that's how thought transmissions can be. That's how strong they can be. My question is there: if we want to manifest a specific person, should we focus on more on ourselves and feeling life as if he's already with me? I would say, yeah, definitely, focusing on yourself is also going to be pushed out through your specific person as well. And I think you're asking like, which should we put more of an emphasis on? I would say, why not both? But if you really have to take like a dominant one, I would say self-concept, really, because self-concept is not just going to help you with your SP, but it's going to help you with the overall quality of your life. Because you wouldn't just want your SP, you want to live like a quality life with, your SP, right? So I think like focusing on self-concept and everything, and also I think feeling as if it's already yours has its own power. But I would say self-concept would be the main one, and then also focusing on SP. So it's more of a balancing act, but the dominant one is definitely going to be SP, I would say. I mean, sorry, self-concept, sorry. uh, can you tell me any tips and things to keep in mind while manifesting a celebrity? Oh wow. Like, don't put them on a pedestal thinking that they are a quote-unquote celebrity. Like, everyone is just people. See them as such. Like, don't see them as like a celebrity, right? See them as ordinary citizens, ordinary people, if you will, right? Like, a celebrity is just a status that they obtained, right? They weren't born like, with that kind of status. And see yourself as the prize, and really don't put an emphasis on the fact that this person is now a celebrity. See them as an ordinary person. They are a celebrity because of what they are doing for their profession. That's it, period. Like, don't put them on a pedestal. That's the key there. Yeah. Are you aware about Neville's teaching his student to manifest $3 million in the 50s? I'm afraid not. I Which lecture is it from? If you could let me know, I can see if I would recall that. Thanks. Okay, let me see if there's any other. First time caught you live. All right. Yeah. Want to ask you, how can we manifest out of nowhere? I've read several Monetary stories, some were big in amount. Okay. How's that possible? Okay, so I guess you meant like monetary stories. Is that right? Like okay, so honestly, it's self concept. Like it comes back to that. For me, it's like they didn't see, you know, the money wise, they didn't see that, like as something that's big. Probably they just wondered about the possibility. Like, wouldn't it be wonderful if I manifested like that much money, or what if I had that much money, and they just got it through the lottery or something, and it is possible because they didn't think, you know, how is that possible, right? They just dwelled in that thought really. Okay, so my SP was curious when we met, but after a while we went into less contact. He's a chill guy who doesn't text first. I'm the one to contact him first. Even now, I called. He said he'll call, but he hasn't. Um, okay, this means that, like initially your self concept was strong, but as you guys were like in a relationship, it's a classic story, right? The insecurities, fears, doubts kicks in, and then he's on a pedestal, you're not, and even now, like you put his actions on a pedestal, like he hasn't. He said he'll call, but he hasn't, right? And rather, what you should do is, regardless of that, like your worth, he has to come back, right? So, and rather you just do your own things. Don't be expecting that, don't be longing for that, right? Change the story, right? He has to call, otherwise he'd go mad or something, right? Like, and put yourself on the pedestal. Just go by your life, right? Don't be expecting his call or anything, right? Don't arrange your schedules for him. Let him arrange his schedules for you, and he's not going anywhere, right? So come at it from that perspective, and I feel like that should really help you. um, is checking his social media allowed? No, I would say no. Like, the reason why we say no is, hi Nali. Yeah, and the reason why we say no is because, like, what are you telling yourself subconsciously whilst checking his social media? What are you telling yourself, right? If, let's say, like, this was a person who lived in your house, right? If this person was already yours, would you be checking social media? Absolutely not. Like, you wouldn't be checking social media and thinking, like, what are they doing or anything. Why? Because this person is in your house. You wouldn't be stalking your own family member or something, would you? Like, that's the perspective you come at it from. And when you come at it from that perspective, you wouldn't do that. And this isn't like living in the end. Like, seeing, like, checking social media and stuff like that isn't living in the end. Like, fair enough, you might miss them, but then you can do the inner conversations and hear them, like, say, like, I'm always within you, don't give up, like, and keep going, right? Get the assurance from within. Do your inner conversations with the 4D version of your SP and keep going. Do not check social media, because subconsciously it is telling and reinforcing the idea that SP is not yours. So yeah, what about third parties? How to deal with it? It really makes me feel insecure, as when I got to know that the third party is also manifesting your SP. Doesn't matter if third party is manifesting your SP, because this is your reality and only you have free will, right? The reality, like, you're not experiencing the reality where only third party has free will, because the consciousness, the I am that is within you, is experiencing this reality through you, right? So only you are going to get your desires, right? Check my SPs and infinite parallel realities video. It's on IGTV as well. It's not on YouTube, so you can definitely check that out. I explained in detail, like, how if someone is manifesting the same thing as you, those realities are separate cocoons of reality that wouldn't, like, intersect. So definitely, like, you wouldn't have to worry about that. And you may be feeling insecure about the third party because you feel that maybe SP might choose them over you or something, and it's more about you choosing SP rather than SP choosing you. So put the emphasis on you rather than SP, and know that, like, you are the goddess of your reality, and it's you choosing him, not him choosing you, and really come at it from that perspective. um, okay, I want to forget all the child abuse, but a part of me doesn't want to. I feel like I should remember it. Why is it? What do I do? Because maybe the whole child abuse thing, you feel like it could be a part of your identity. You could have placed an emphasis on it in the sense that you could have thought, like, it shaped you as a person, like who you are, and that's why you don't want to let it go. What I would say is definitely revision, revising the scenes, making sure that you always had a very good childhood. Perhaps that would really help. um, I mean, you can definitely, like, a lot of people like I've spoken to who had a spiritual awakening and stuff like that, they definitely had hard childhoods. And I think shifting the perspective of that, like, how it has made them more empathetic to people and everything like that, I feel like that really helps. So yeah, I feel like, maybe shifting the perspective, if you can't forget it, don't look at it from a place of like, oh, I suffered, but rather this has made me grow. Maybe that could help. I'm not able to imagine him contacting me. It isn't normal to my imagination. What do you think? What do I do? I DK what to imagine him saying. If that's hard for you, right, you can simply affirm. You don't have to imagine, but rather put the emphasis on your developing your self concept, right? Like, be okay with him not contacting you. Be okay, like, him coming back at a later time, and really work on your self concept. Start to, feel like, why are you feeling this way? Start asking yourself that question. Do you think he's not going to come back, for example? Then tell yourself, like, you are the creator of your reality. Circumstances do not matter. Only you have free will. So he has to conform. So he has to come back. He's not going anywhere. So what do you do in the meanwhile? Focus on the present moment. Focus on working on yourself, on different aspects of your life. He has to come back. He isn't going anywhere. So my advice is work on your self-concept. Is it possible to manifest a famous, not so famous person? Yeah, I think I already answered it. Is that, celebrity is just a status. Doesn't matter. You can manifest them. So yeah. How do you work on your mental diet as coach, since you may hear so many negative stories and circumstances from your clients? Oh, that's a good one. Honestly, I see it from a very objective standpoint. Like, I don't get sucked into the story to the point where it's affecting me. At one point, you are like, it's just another story that you're for them, it may be like, that's the only story that they have heard and experienced. So it may be like, a big deal for them. But when you're seeing, like, repeated trends in a few stories, not to trivialize it in any other way, but you start to see it from a very objective standpoint. It's definitely something that I had to learn as I go on. And because some of these stories can be a lot at times, and I do agree with that. But when you're seeing it from an objective standpoint, and also I know for a fact that those circumstances do not matter and that they can change it for the better, like, having that sense of knowing within me, like, helps me look at it from a very objective lens, and knowing that, I can change it and make it better for them, like, really helps me, like, not to get, sucked into that, if that makes sense. I think I have a question, but I can't see. Okay, if I left any questions, do let me know. But yeah, okay. Sorry, because I'm getting questions both in the live chat and, like, privately people are DMing me as well. Been feeling a little low last couple of days and struggling to get back on it. Any advice? Break the mundane cycle if there's any mundane cycles. Maybe go out for a walk, or go for cycling, or something that you wouldn't do for your daily normal routine, and that would really get you out of that. Being feeling a little low. Take on something else, and focusing on that for a short period of time. I think that will really help you a lot. And yeah, I feel like those kinds of, like, spontaneous activities would make your brain focus on that, because it's so new. Because what happens when our brains are focused on a regular routine is that it starts to roam elsewhere, because it's so used to the current routine. And when it starts to roam, it usually goes to the old story, and the old story is often unfavorable, and that's why you feel the way you do at times. So break the mundane routines with, like, something very spontaneous, and I feel like that should help. Okay, let me see. I'm still getting a notification that I'm getting a private question, but I'm not seeing anything. Okay. The exercise for manifesting $3 million was done in the 40s or 50s or 60s. If you could let me know the original lecture, I would feel like that would help. I'll definitely check it out. But I have heard, like, Neville talk about money stories before, like a woman, like, receiving like $2,000 for the rest of her life and everything, just by focusing on a feeling, which was relief and peace, I believe. So yeah, perfect answer. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, I'm obsessed with my speed desire. I think I answered that already as well. Can you explain what I wants me to concept, please? Okay, So the idea behind that is because everyone is you pushed out. The reason you have a desire is because that desire, tries to express itself through you, right? In this case, the desire could be the union with your SP, right? Maybe SP, could have had a thought, and or like the universe wants to, like, the way I see it is like desire is being divine direction, and your higher self or the universe or God, whatever you call it, wants to express that desires through you. And that's how I see it as, and that really gives me the reinforcement within me that my desires are leading me to the right place. And yeah, that's how I see it. How to ignore circumstances? I don't see any changes and I feel comfortable and desperate. Okay, how to ignore circumstances? By dwelling in your imagination more, and you don't see any changes. Well, for that I would say, from where you stand, you may not see any changes, but that doesn't mean there are changes that are not going on behind the scenes. Like, your peripheral vision and the things that you have access to, like, is so limited that you have no idea sometimes what's going on. Like, even with SP, for example, a lot of people tend to assume, oh, maybe SP is not thinking about me and stuff like that. But the thing is, you don't know that. Like, you can only know so much about a person through, like, your WhatsApp status, and, like, your social media chats and whatnot, right? Like, you can only know so much about them, right? You can't, like, rip open their heads and know what's in their thoughts. Like, you don't know what's going on. So if you're going to assume something, assume favorably. It's very easy for all of us to assume in a very unfavorable way, because that's like literally, like, social programming at its best there, and we are always made to think from the worst case scenarios as well. So I would say, like, assume the best here. If you're going to assume the best. Otherwise, don't even assume at all. And yeah. When manifesting higher grades, do you have to work hard in the 3D? No, I don't think so. Because I feel that you just put in the appropriate amount of effort needed for that. I don't think it's a thing of working hard, because you can sit down and, like, try to read the same book over 10 times, and the content may not still go. But rather, you set the intention that you absorb information quickly and easily, and that you always find the easiest possible route. And like, intend for clarity on the situation, and intending for your studies to be easy in general will really help you. Like, you can always tell yourself, like, studying is always easy for me. And you can also hear, like, inner conversations with your friends, where, like, you're telling your friends how easy this subject is to learn. And I feel like that would really help you a lot. And don't go in, this has really helped me, like, don't go into a topic thinking that you don't know anything, right? Go into it knowing that you are a very smart and capable person who is able to absorb information really quickly. That has helped me a lot, honestly. So yeah. Something you'd like to share on the topic of free will? Hi, manifestation goddess. Yeah, I would say, like, with free will, I like, one thing is, like, don't be concerned about if others have free will or not, because that's something that a lot of people seem to be, like, really be concerned about in a way. I would say don't. Like, only you have free will, and really remind yourself of that, because no matter what anyone says, like, if SP says we can't get back together or anything like that, like, remind yourself only you have free will. What they are saying is a result of past thoughts, assumptions, and beliefs, and you can change it, right? Remind yourself of that. Like, reminding yourself of that allows you to not, like, react when they say something unfavorable, because when SP says something unfavorable, or when your employer says something unfavorable, like, what happens is we tend to, like, react, like, straight away. Or some people would try to, like, convince their SPs and stuff like that. Don't, because only you have free will. You can change it. Let them be for now. Go back within and change it. Yeah, that's something I wanted to share about free will. Which things and tips we should keep in mind when we are manifesting a celebrity? I think I already answered that as well. Do we need to follow intuition when we are doing LOA? Can we attract SP, but she is a totally stranger? Okay, I feel that by intuition you mean, like, depends on the definition of intuition, because intuition is something, like, is very dangerous. Like, it could be like inspiration that comes to you. You need to evaluate what your intuition is, and how, like, are you someone who's really very observant and aware of like what's going on within, or is intuition just an excuse for you to pursue something? Like, I think being very clear in that and being like brutally honest with that, will really help you with the definition of intuition, because I feel like some people just like when it comes to like calling their SPs and stuff, like for example, they will always say like, I feel a deep sense of intuition, they're thinking about me and stuff like that. So you have to be aware if this is just an excuse, or if this is like a genuine guide within you that you feel like drawn towards, like do you feel excited towards. That's how I define intuition as. So it really depends on your definition, if you will. How to make being a celebrity an everyday thing for yourself when you don't know how it feels. Oh, okay. So I think this person asked like, if you want to be a celebrity, how do you like get into that state? Um, Watch videos like how celebrities act. What does that mean for you? Is that luxury? Are you traveling in a car, or people approaching you to get your autograph? Like what like thinking about that. Like what does your daily life entail? Like how is your life like? You don't have to model it after anyone else's. Like you model it after how you feel. Like what do you want? And I feel like that would really help. And also like what kind of like cars you're driving, or how everyone is treating you, which is like getting treated like a goddess and everything, perhaps. Tips on improving self-concept. Disassociate yourself from like past traumas if possible. Think about how far you've come with where you are in life and whatnot. And also not believing in the naysayers, validating your own experiences rather than looking for it on the outside. Those are tips on improving self-concept. My SP doesn't even know me. Is it possible that they will? How? Firstly, drop knowing the how, and like I would say, like the opportunities will unfold. You don't worry about that, but don't like think about like, okay, they don't know me. How is this all going to pan out and whatnot? But rather, I would say, like dwell in the idea of like you meeting them, how exciting it would be, how excited they are to meet you, and stuff like that. And I feel like that would really help. Just give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. Yeah, I have to. Sorry, I had to like off my laptop's charger. How can I stop worrying about the when and how when your SP doesn't know you, lives in another country, and is very well known in his country? Well, those are like, obstacles that you give yourself. Like the how doesn't matter. If you gave this much energy to the idea of your union with your SP, right? If you focused all this energy onto that aspect of it, you wouldn't even be concerned about this, because imagination is the only reality, right? And like I feel that if you like could divert all this attention to that, your imaginal scenes where you and your SP are together, for example, or you guys have met, right? That would really help. And rather than stop worrying, like don't use these circumstances as an excuse for worrying. Like you can find 1,000 reasons to worry, but at the same time you can find 1,000 reasons to be hopeful for. Like it's a matter of what you choose. It's your choice here. So yeah, your view on scripting and vision boards. I think they are great. I have my own vision board and stuff as well. I love doing them. I feel that with vision boards, they are really like something that really reminds you. I'm a very visual person, so I love designing them on my own. It's also like a good graphic design exercise for me as well. So yeah, I'm glad to know you. You really cleared so many doubts. Thanks for everything. Thank you for supporting the page. I really appreciate it. Hi, Agita. Does universe really test our commitment to our manifestation? I don't think so. I see it from a very objective standpoint. It's like a mirror. Like it just gives feedback. There is no almighty that is judging you, like from the top and like putting you through like trials and tribulations, and like it's not that anymore. Like I think it's a very law of attraction kind of a perspective, which I have kind of swayed from, if I'm being honest. Like no disrespect, but it's like I think the key difference also between like law of attraction and like and law of assumption is they don't see the universe, like in law of assumption we don't see the universe as like a separate entity, someone that's judging you. And I used to think that as a teenager, when I was going through my own spiritual journeys and whatnot. Um, and I thought, this is all part of like quote unquote God's plan and everything. But with like infinite realities, I feel like there is no such thing as God's plan. Everything is God's plan, right? So I don't see it as such anymore. So yeah, don't think that, because in that case, like when you see it as like they are testing your strength and commitment, it emphasizes the suffering, and it almost like makes you expect it to an extent. And I don't, because I feel like that's a limiting belief. Like, why should we suffer to get things that we want? Why can't we receive things with ease and grace? Like, why couldn't that be our reality? So yeah. How do I stop worrying about the one and how lives in a different country and has a different social status? Circumstances do not matter. Again, like stop focusing on reasons to be worried. Like focus on, like, what if you hit the jackpot? What if you become a millionaire? What if you become richer than your SP? Like, what then, right? And social status is just a label from the society. See yourself as differently, see yourself as important individual, and the world around you has to conform to reflect that. I mean, look at a lot of like celebrities. Like when they started out, they always had that vision within them that they are going to be someone, even when the world thought otherwise, and they became someone. Why? Because it all starts with a thought. Like even Neville Goddard's mom, I think she always used to tell them like, you're a Goddard, as though that name always carried a significance. Look at it right now. Like even after like 100 years, like from all the beginnings of his story and his family, we still we are still talking about him and his name and whatnot, right? That name Goddard, like for everyone in the community, has such significance, right? So yeah. How to manifest social media success? Well, like I think firstly it depends on what success is in terms of like for you, like is it likes, comments, or followers, and simply visualize the number, persist in it, and see it, and don't think about like strategies and everything, but rather keep focusing on that and keep doing whatever you have to do, like whether it's posting content or whatnot, and have fun with it, and it'll definitely grow. Yeah. Hey guys. Yeah, you're welcome. How to change that? How to change what? Peaceful Soul 1828. Can you tell me what to change? Thanks. I want to manifest regular good opportunities. I'd love to know your opinions on it. Okay, regular good opportunities, as in like, is it work related or what? But I would say you can simply intend like good opportunities are always showing up for me, and you can hear people like coming to you with like opportunities, maybe people around you that you know of, maybe in your work or amongst your friend circle maybe, or receiving WhatsApp messages. You can just like close your eyes and visualize that. Maybe that could help you. I'm sorry guys, like I'm trying to scroll down as much as I can, because like as I'm answering everything, it's like way at the top. Timeless Style Africa asked, how do you remove blocks that keep you from acquiring the things you want? They are blocks because you define them as blocks. So don't see them as blocks. Like, see them as something that you're able to overcome. And don't, they are only blocks if you feel like they are blocks. They could exist and you can still manifest. Like, you can still manifest your SP with a shitty self-concept, for example. Of course, it's a whole other story of like keeping them and everything, and you have to work on your self-concept. But you can still like manifest things. Like, you don't have to in your mind have a prerequisite that, oh, I have to get over the quote-unquote blocks in order to receive what I want, right? That is a rule that you have implemented for yourself. So you remove them by not focusing on them and by not acknowledging their presence as the reason as to why you're not receiving your desires. Why pundits and priests predict our future when everything in our life is created by us? Is there anything like destiny? Okay, the way I see it is they are reading what's going on within. Same thing with like tarot and everything. I do feel that like they are very good at picking up our energies, like what's going on within, and they're just like like from where we are right now, they are extrapolating from that when it comes to our trajectories, right? And that's why when you go to them maybe a while later, when your self-concept is different, they might say something else, because it's because they are reading different energies at that point. So yeah. How to overcome lack of feeling and overcome feeling of fear of losing him. You feel that you may lose him because he might find someone better, for example. And it's again coming back to self concept. Like, who would he go to if you are the prize? No one but you, right? And lack feeling is because you feel that he has something to offer you that you can't for yourself, which is completely false, right? Tap into yourself always, be it for love, validation, or anything, right? If you're feeling lack, do your inner conversations with him, the 4D version of him, maybe that could help. But honestly, like, when you can validate your experiences, right? What I've noticed is that when you're tapping within yourself, that's an infinite source. Whereas if you're depending on someone else, that's a finite source. It's not going to be there forever. But you can tap into yourself anytime. And so, like, cultivate that habit of acknowledging your own achievements, loving yourself, and really, like, appreciating yourself as a person. Like that Snoop Dogg speech of, like, lastly, I want to thank me, right? That's how you should be. Like, always thank yourself, always appreciate yourself, and you wouldn't have such thoughts. If I want to go in a certain profession but have a degree or another, basically, if my qualification is not eligible, can I get? Yeah, definitely. I think, let's be honest here, like, these days, degrees means lesser and lesser than it did in the past, and it doesn't matter, right? If the employer likes you, they like you, and you could be the unique case where, despite your qualifications, they may hire you simply because they like you as who you are as a person and how you carry yourself. Go into the job interviews or whatnot with the identity that you are completely qualified for this job, and that they would be lucky to have you. Again, comes back to self-concept. Like, always walk in like as though they are getting lucky because they get to hire you, and that perception will really help you a lot then. So yeah. Seeing synchronous numbers really mean our desire is coming. Yes, if you assign that meaning for it. It really depends on what you think that those numbers mean. Is there any questions? Okay, I don't see any. Okay, so for, like, synchronous numbers, what I'll say is, like, sometimes I do see it, and, like, for 888, it's like in the community, it's like, for wealth and everything, right? And I just accept it as such because it's not going against any of my beliefs, and if I can use it even as a placebo, like, I'm just like, why not, right? And so I just use it as that. At one point I just started seeing so many synchronicities. It's like, okay, it means that I just take it as a sign that everything is going well for me in my life. Even if I don't see it, I don't, like, take it as like, oh, this means that my life is not going in the right direction. No. I come up with the rule that I only manifest, like, favorable thoughts, and that's about it. So no limiting belief, everything is easily and effortlessly, gracefully. I don't like to use the word effortlessly, so I would say gracefully, because effortless means, like, I don't know what's the thing. A lot of people like to use the word effortlessly. For me, it's like saying anti-negative. Like, if it's positive, just say positive, right? Like, why would you want to say effortless? That's something I always try to, like, like, change, honestly. And negative thoughts few times a day, is it okay? Yes, as long as your dominant thoughts are favorable. You can never be 100%, of course, so just letting them pass by, like, clouds, and just ignoring them and not acknowledging their presence in your mind would really help. And yeah. So Kim asked, what helps you stay focused on self-concept / revision / living from the desired state during your days and don't get distracted? Love all your answers, you bring it so clear. Thank you. Right, so what I do is really remind myself of the end, and I really remind myself of, like, where I'm going to be. So technically speaking, where I am doesn't really matter, and in my mind I'm already living in that desired state. And for self-concept, like, I always remind myself, like, I'm not beneath anyone, I'm not a being that's lower anyone because of anything. And I also like remind myself like I'm completely worthy of all that I desire, and really like waking up in the morning, just reminding myself of that, and also gratitude. Just seeing all the blessings in my life, like that just helps me like maintain a good self concept, and also like that's how I don't get distracted, by making sure like like I'm being always like focused on the favorable things in my life. And also like whatever that I'm doing, like I just try to focus on the favorable thoughts, like in general, even with regards to my work. Even if I have a challenge, so to speak, I think of it as, okay, we'll get through this. It's not worth getting stressed out for anything, because there was several points in my life a couple of years back where I used to be so stressed out for every single thing, and it wasn't worth it. So yeah, that's how I do it. Do you have an SP? No, not currently. But yeah, how does gratitude help in manifesting? Or is it just law of attraction thing to be grateful? No, no, no. The way gratitude helps, right? Like it, it really helps in the sense that it helps you build up positive momentum. Like if you guys like saw the post about the red Audi car that I posted like a couple months back, when I started like intending to see a red Audi car, right? Like my mind started to focus on everything that was red. Like it started, like my mind, it was so crazy. Like I started to notice everything that was red instantly. And the same thing with gratitude is, when you start to see like all that's going well in your life, your brain starts to look for things that are along those same line of thought. And I feel that that is what's helping you. You get what I mean? So yeah, I feel that that's how it helps you build that momentum, if you will. Let me see, there's one more question, I believe. Okay, after manifesting him more than a month, why did he block? I'm practicing self-love, focusing on career. I'm also being very persistent. I show gratitude. I try to stay busy and happy most of the time, but still something is missing. I thought everything was going fine. Suddenly, why block? It could be anything that's going on within him. Firstly, stop focusing on the 3D. Like if you are doing all these things, you shouldn't be focused on the 3D. So keep going, and there could be many reasons for it. But this is why faith towards the unseen, right? Trusting in the process is very important. Like trust that this somehow is going to lead you to the fulfillment of your desire. You never know why he may have blocked you, right? Maybe he feels guilty for the way he treated you in the past, or he just feels bad for how things turned out between you guys. Blocking someone doesn't just come from resentment, or wanting to have that individual out of your life. It could be how he feels about you, right? So maybe he feels guilty for how he treated you or something, for example. And just trust in the process that this too is going to lead you to the union, like with your SP, and have that faith. And I feel like that's really going to help you there a lot. So also, don't be thinking like, okay, I have done this much, why isn't it here yet? Keep going. Don't be counting your days. Don't be counting the amount of effort you're putting. There is no like bar which is, okay, you have reached 1,000 affirmations today, now you're going to manifest your SP, right? It's not about that. It's more about whether or not you have had the conviction in your mind that this is already a fact, right? That is what you're trying to achieve with affirmations and persisting in gratitude, is making your mind believe that this is already yours, this is already a done deal. That's the measurement, the only measurement in my opinion you should really think about. I just manifested something. It's a small thing, but it made me feel happy. Yay, just wanted to share it. Congratulations. I intend for more instantaneous manifestations like that. He's very distant and doesn't open up personally. Should I continue manifesting or let go? That's really up to you. But don't, if know that like you can still confirm him. Definitely, you can make him conform through your thoughts and everything. So I would say, even if he doesn't like, even if he's very distant and stuff like that, talk to a version of him, have an inner conversation with him in the 4D, in your imagination, where a version of him is very close to you and always opens up to you because he trusts you with all his heart and soul. And I think having inner conversations with that version in your imagination is really going to help you there a lot. me take a water break. Yeah, is there any questions? I think I've covered everything so far. So yeah, I do plan to stay for like one whole hour before the IGTV closes, and yeah. Okay, so if there's not any questions, I'll answer as it comes by. Like, I think a few people talked about like any client manifestation stories. Um, I think the one that I like to talk about was the how my client manifested a trip to Dubai. Like, I mean, she's working there right now, and she got in without an interview and stuff like that. Like, it took her 4 months, but she really persisted, and she really got it. Like, just by yeah, it'll be saved. The life will be saved. And I think I remember with that client, like what happened was she just solely focused on her self concept, and that's why I really try to like hone in on that. Like with the whole idea of self concept is she just focused on how worthy she is as a person, and I feel that that would really help. And so there's actually an IGTV video of that as well. You guys can check that out, how my client manifested a trip to Dubai, and she got a job there without an interview, like without being called for an interview and stuff like that. So definitely do check it out. Okay, someone asked, can I manifest my SP? Of course you can, circumstances don't matter. So yeah, I think there was a few earlier questions. I want to scroll back up to. Okay, so yeah, I think I pretty much covered it because some of it was repeats. Can we manifest specific skill like singing, composing without training? See, this was something that recently popped up in another Facebook group of a community as well. I would say go into it like with the idea that like go into it with the idea that like you can learn things quickly, but I mean, technically, if all things are possible, you probably can compose without training. Probably, like, but like the way 3D operates, like, there has to be some sort of a process, there has to be action. So even if you are thinking about like being very skillful at something, even though you don't have any idea with where you are right now, what would happen is a series of events. Definitely, like what would happen is like you would be led through a series of events, like the bridge of incidents, where you have to learn something, and that would really help you. Hey Nisa, hey, thanks Meghna. Yeah, how does my services work? DM me for more info. I'll definitely let you know. Yeah, I'm doing fine, thank you. Okay guys, we have come to like the end. Like we have about few minutes remaining, like a few last 2 minutes actually. So this video will definitely be uploaded onto YouTube, and you guys can definitely check it out there. Yeah, so any of my videos from now, like mostly I'll post it on YouTube rather than IGTV, because that's more of like where I'm going to post my videos from now. But I'll definitely be hosting more lives like this. So thank you all for your support, thank you all for your questions. I hope like all of your questions were answered, and if there's anything else, I am available for coaching, so be sure to check that out as well. I'm going to be uploading this as soon as I can, and yeah, so I mean subliminals do work as well, so definitely if it works for you, you will be led through a bridge of incidents as well. So yeah guys, thank you so much for your support, for all that, all the likes, shares, and any details on subliminals. Honestly, I don't really listen to them because I really don't have time. I just like for me what works is like just affirming, just assuming as though it's a done deal, and really coming at it from a place of like everything is always favorable for me. Like even when I step in, like I always like come at it from a place of like I know everything already. So yeah, it's okay. Like Fatima, I'll definitely answer your question in the Facebook group since you are there, how to recreate your SP, because it's going to end in 30 seconds actually. Hi guys, so all this video will be uploaded onto YouTube, because the live is going to end in like 20 seconds right now. It's okay if you guys came in late, but definitely it'll be uploaded onto YouTube, so you can check it out there. So thank you, and yeah, I'll answer the last question in the FB group as well. So yeah, thank you, and take care, guys. Stay safe, and happy manifesting. I'll see you guys in the next live. Peace.